The secret in his wallet ruined our life. It was a Tuesday evening in late autumn, the kind where the sky turns a bruised purple before the streetlights flicker on. I remember because I was making lasagna, Mark's favorite, for no reason other than to surprise him after a long day at the office. Our home in suburban Chicago was cozy, filled with the scent of garlic and tomato sauce bubbling on the stove. We'd been married for 12 years, high school sweethearts who beat the odds. No kids yet, but we talked about it often, dreaming of a little girl with my curly hair and his green eyes. Mark worked as a financial advisor, steady and reliable. I taught third grade at the local elementary school, molding young minds with stickers and storybooks. Our life was ordinary, but in the best way. Weekend hikes in the nearby forest preserve, Netflix binges on rainy days, and anniversary trips to quiet bed and breakfasts. We weren't perfect. We argued about money sometimes, or whose turn it was to unload the dishwasher. But we always made up with a kiss and a promise to do better. That night, Mark called to say he'd be late. Client meeting running over. I didn't mind. It gave me time to set the table with our good china and light a candle. While waiting, I tidied up the living room, picking up his jacket from the back of the couch where he'd tossed it that morning. As I hung it up, his wallet slipped out of the inner pocket and fell to the floor with a soft thud. I bent down to retrieve it, not thinking much of it. Wallets are personal, sure, but we'd shared everything for years. Bank accounts, passwords, even the embarrassing stories from our pasts. Curiosity didn't even factor in. It was just habit to check if anything had fallen out. I flipped it open and there, tucked behind his driver's license in a clear plastic sleeve, was a photo I'd never seen before. It was a Polaroid-style snapshot, faded at the edges like it had been carried for years. In it, Mark stood with his arm around a woman I didn't recognize. She was pretty, with straight blonde hair and a warm smile, wearing a sundress that screamed summer vacation. But what stopped my heart was the little boy between them, maybe 5 or 6 years old, with Mark's unmistakable green eyes and a gap-toothed grin. They looked like a family, posing in front of a beach house, waves crashing in the background. My hands trembled as I stared at it. Who was she? Who was he? Questions flooded my mind like a dam breaking. I sat on the couch, the wallet clutched in my lap, the lasagna forgotten in the oven until the smoke alarm blared. I turned it off mechanically, my thoughts spinning. When Mark walked in an hour later, the house smelled of charred cheese. "Honey, everything okay?" he called from the foyer, hanging up his keys. I didn't answer at first. He found me in the kitchen, the photo on the table like evidence in a trial. His face drained of color when he saw it. "Sarah," he whispered, my name sounding like a plea. "Who are they?" I asked, my voice steady but edged with ice. He sank into a chair, rubbing his temples. "It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. Over the next hour, the story unraveled like a poorly knit sweater. Her name was Emily. They'd met 7 years ago during a work conference in Miami. It started as a fling, he said, but turned into something more. The boy Liam was his son. Mark had been sending money every month, visiting when he could under the guise of business trips. He'd kept the photo as a reminder, he claimed, not out of love but guilt. "Why?" Choked out. "We were happy. We were trying for a baby." He looked at the floor. "I didn't plan it. Just happened. I was going to tell you, but the timing was never right." Timing. As if our life was a schedule he could pencil in betrayal around. I felt sick, the room tilting. That night, I slept in the guest room, or tried to. My mind replayed every suspicious late night, every unexplained expense. The emotional weight crushed me, betrayal mixed with grief for the life I thought we had. The next morning I called in sick to work. Mark left for the office, begging me to talk later. Alone I dug deeper. I found emails on our shared computer, hidden in a folder labeled taxes. Love notes, photos of Liam's birthday parties, plane tickets to Florida. Emily lived in Tampa. They'd built a parallel life while I graded papers and planned our future. I confronted him that evening. "How could you do this to us? Tears streamed down his face. "I love you, Sarah. This doesn't change that." But it changed everything. Love wasn't a switch. It was trust, and he'd shattered mine. We argued for hours, voices rising until neighbors might have heard. He swore it was over with Emily, that he'd end the visits, but the damage was done. Liam existed, a child who looked just like the man I'd married. How could I ignore that? In the days that followed, emotions swung like a pendulum. Anger burned hot. I threw his clothes into suitcases, screaming about lies and deceit. Then came the sorrow, deep and aching. We'd built a home together. Now it felt like a stage set for a play that had ended. I cried in the shower, hot water mixing with tears, wondering if I'd missed signs. Was I not enough? Had our marriage been a facade? I confided in my sister Lisa, over coffee at her place. "What do?" I whispered. She hugged me tight. "You deserve better. But think about what you want." What I wanted was impossible. To rewind time, erase the photo from existence. Instead I sought therapy. Dr. Harlan, a soft-spoken woman in her 50s, listened as I poured out the pain. "Discovery like this triggers a grief process," she said. "Denial, anger, bargaining, it's all normal." Normal didn't make it easier. Mark moved to a hotel, giving me space. We tried couples counseling, but every session unearthed more secrets. He'd lied about debts too. Money funneled to Emily for Liam's school, racking up credit cards in his name. Our savings, which I'd thought secure, were depleted. The emotional toll mounted. I lost weight, couldn't sleep. At school, I snapped at students, then apologized through tears. Parents complained. The principal suggested time off. Friends divided like assets in a divorce. Some sided with me, others pitted Mark as the flawed but good guy. 6 months in, I filed for divorce. The papers sat on the kitchen table, a stark reminder of our ruin. Mark signed them without fight, his eyes hollow. "I'm sorry," he said for the 100th time. Sorry didn't fix the nights I woke up reaching for him, only to remember why he was gone. Or the way holidays felt empty, our traditions tainted. I sold the house, moved to a small apartment downtown, starting over at 35. Dating apps felt alien. Trust was a fragile thing now. Years later, I heard through mutual friends that Mark married Emily. Liam was thriving, a teenager now. Stung but less sharply. I'd rebuilt. A new job at a charter school, a circle of supportive friends, even a tentative romance with a kind widower named Tom. But the secret in his wallet. It ruined our life, yes. Stripped away illusions, forced growth through pain. Emotional consequences lingered like scars. Caution in love, a wariness of hidden compartments. Yet in the ruins I found resilience. Life goes on, not unchanged, but perhaps stronger for the breaking.